Hey guys, it's Simeon. This is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 23rd of April, 2021 to talk about everything that went down tonight on Friday Night Smackdown. And I'm going to say it right now. I'm not fairly. That's not even close. What's the word I'm looking for? I very much, I'll just say right there, enjoyed tonight's SmackDown. I enjoyed tonight's SmackDown a whole hell of a lot. And the last couple of weeks of SmackDown have kind of just been meh. The last couple of weeks of WWE in general have been meh with Raw and all that. But tonight's SmackDown felt different. It felt fresher than normal. It felt like somebody else may have been in charge. But with that, SmackDown was fun tonight. Looking back at my notes, just seeing everything that went down, for the most part, yeah, I enjoyed everything. Like there was not nothing, or there was not anything. I can't say not nothing. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Knocked over my water bottle. Okay, good thing my lid was still on, or that could have been a catastrophe. I'm getting a message on Twitter. Let me see something really fast. We may have some news here. Says, so, apparently, some people in WWE think that things feel stale and drastic changes need to be made. Well, I could say right now that I was told today that WWE President Nick Khan has been given even more power than you think in the company. Like, everyone thought, oh, he's just in charge of the business side. No, he's apparently allowed to make changes to anything he wants. I don't know how much that means for creative, but apparently Nick Khan, from what I was told today, is like, Vince is here, Nick Khan's right here, as far as what he's allowed to do with this company. Right here, if not almost here. So, but the word I just got was that people in power think that the product's getting stale and things need to be changed up pertaining to the Daniel Bryan Roman Reigns match next week. So we'll see what that means, because that's an interesting thing that I really want to talk about. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, if you're watching on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways, either by hitting that donate button down below or donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember that you can subscribe to the channel right here on Twitch one of two different ways. You can subscribe either with Amazon Prime you can subscribe with a tier subscription or Amazon Prime, because if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a bunch of cool perks, like stuff for in-game purchases, free in-game purchases. They sometimes even give you free games, and they always give you one free subscription to any Twitch channel that you want to support throughout the month. And I greatly appreciate it if you support us here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. On the flip side, if you're watching over on YouTube, you can help us out in the live chat with a super chat or a super sticker donation. Also, remember, you can subscribe to the channel as a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to certain podcasts, you get early access to non-news videos, and early access to some exclusive news, plus emojis you can use in the live chat and badges next to your name. Also, remember, if you want to help us out, you can directly support us at patreon.com/PW Unlimited. But with that, we've got SmackDown to talk about, as this show kicked off with the Swiss Superman, Cesaro. Cesaro standing in the ring about to speak as the show started after a recap of last week's incident with Cesaro and Roman Reigns and all that. When Seth Rollins would make his way out and interrupt immediately. Rollins noticed that Cesaro hit his potential, his peak at WrestleMania, and that was only because he faced Rollins. Rollins said he was upset that Cesaro's moving on to challenging Roman Reigns. He promised that it's not over between the two of them. Rollins discussed their WrestleMania match and claimed that Cesaro couldn't beat him again. Rollins blamed the weather delay, saying that it threw him off of his game. Cesaro then said, okay, you think you could still beat me? Come down to the ring right here, right now. And Rollins goes, okay, I'll walk down to the ring. I'll maybe jump in there with you. And out would come Jey Uso. Uso would then begin to yell at Cesaro that he couldn't beat Reigns, Uso, or Rollins at all. Uso then challenged Cesaro to a match, and then him and Seth said something to each other, and they circle the ring. They both go to jump into the ring when all of a sudden Daniel Bryan would make his way out. He jumped in the ring to help Cesaro, and Bryan noted that he came out to make sure that Cesaro gets what he deserves. Now, if you remember, they did some stuff earlier in the year with Cesaro and Daniel Bryan, and Cesaro beat Daniel Bryan a couple of times. Daniel Bryan then went on talking smack and said that Cesaro deserves to be a top guy on this brand and in this company. So, yeah. So Bryan said that he is happy to fight alongside Cesaro when Roman Reigns' music would hit. He walked out with Paul Heyman. Reigns mocked Bryan, saying that he was at the bottom of the pile at WrestleMania, and he showed off his new shirt. He said that he could beat Bryan anytime. Reigns called Bryan and Cesaro losers. He said Bryan's the kind of loser that doesn't give up, and Cesaro's a casino loser, whatever that's supposed to mean. Reigns then left, and Uso walked towards the ring. Rollins seemed confused when Uso left. We go to break, and when we come back, they're brawling because, well, a tag team match has been made, and I just realized we forgot the polls. What did you think of tonight's SmackDown? Liked it. It was all right. I didn't like it. Throw that one up. Which poll is up? Let's throw the same poll up on YouTube real fast. All right. We got the polls going. You guys can vote on those and let me know what you thought of tonight's Friday Night Smackdown as we go into this tag team match that was fucking great. I love this match. All four men worked great together, fast pace, and hella storytelling. So like I said, we came back from the break and all four guys are brawling. The referee restored order and the match officially began with the baby faces taking the early advantage as Cesaro hit a suplex on Uso for a near fall. Rollins then hit a sling blade on Cesaro to take over. The heels isolated Cesaro on their side of the ring. Rollins slowed down the pace with a chin lock, but Cesaro did fight back. Rollins jumped off the second turnbuckle, but Cesaro caught him with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. Bryan got the hot tag and ran wild on Rollins. Rollins attempted a Pele kick, but Bryan caught him with an ankle lock. Great transition there. Bryan hit a German suplex for a near fall. The heels eventually regained control again after Rollins hit a buckle bomb on Bryan. Uso followed this up with a splash for a near fall. Back after commercial break, the heels are firmly in control as they isolated Bryan on their side of the ring and cut him off from Cesaro. Rollins hit Bryan in the back and the back of the head-ish with a series of punches before knocking him down for a near fall. Bryan made a brief comeback, but Uso hit a Samoan drop for a near fall. Rollins whipped Bryan into the corner. Bryan ran up the corner, backflip, and collided with Rollins in the middle of the ring. Cesaro made the tag and rocked Uso with an uppercut. Uso avoided the giant swing, but got caught with another uppercut. Bryan then sent Rollins to the floor with a suicide dive. Uso knocked Cesaro to the floor as well. He attempted a dive of his own, but Cesaro caught him with an uppercut. Cesaro jumped in the ring, but Uso caught him with a super kick. After another commercial break, Cesaro and Rollins traded shots. They went back and forth for a while before Cesaro attempted the giant swing, but Rollins rolled him up for a near fall. Cesaro recovered and locked on the sharpshooter on Rollins. Uso rocked Cesaro with a super kick to save Rollins before tapping out. Uso then climbed to the top rope, but Cesaro cut him off with an uppercut. Rollins walked away and left Uso all by himself as the finish of the match came down to Cesaro hitting a superplex on Uso and Bryan following it up with a running knee to pick up the victory. So after the match, Bryan would call out Reigns. Uso tried to jump Cesaro and Bryan, and Cesaro caught Uso in the giant swing and knocked him out with an uppercut. Bryan sat on the turnbuckle and watched as he continued to mock Reigns and Uso as Cesaro did the giant swing. Bryan and Cesaro noted that Reigns still didn't come out to save his cousin because he never will. Cesaro gave Uso the giant swing again as Bryan taunted Reigns to save his cousin. Bryan noted that Uso always saves Reigns, but it's never the other way. Bryan then said that maybe Roman is scared of Cesaro. He believes that Roman is afraid to face Cesaro because he knows that Cesaro would become the new Universal Champion. Very great stuff here. I loved all of this with Daniel Bryan and Cesaro, and there was more to come. There was more to come that was really, really good. In the back, Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville discussed the previous segment or segments. Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz approached, and am I the only one that thinks Commander Aziz or Dabba-Kato or Baba Tunde, whatever you want to call him, looks like the kid from Holes, the one that played Zero, but all grown up? It's not what he looks like now, but he looks like that kid, kinda. You know what I mean? Because that kid's got like a little afro deal now. And where was I? So basically, Cruz is like, why do I have to defend my title tonight? And Cruz was furious about this. Pearce noted that Big E gets a rematch when he returns. But tonight, Cruz will defend against Kevin Owens. And that made no sense because about 30 minutes later, Big E was there. Well, so what do you mean by when he returns? Anyways, Caleb Braxton, who sat too long in the tanning bed, interviewed Jey Uso backstage. He was furious and yelled about Cesaro. Next up, we got the one thing I didn't really care for on tonight's show was Tamina and Nia Jax. This was okay. I'm glad they kept it short. Jax picked up Tamina and backed her into the corner. He followed this up with a splash on the other side of the ring. Jax taunted Tamina, then fired her up. Tamina fought back and knocked Jax down. Tamina attempted to slam Jax, but Baszler interfered. Tamina knocked Jax to the floor and continued to beat her down. Back in the ring, Reginald would jump up on the apron, and Baszler saved him from Tamina, but got knocked down. Baszler got in Reginald's face and fell over the steps. Jax was distracted by all this, leading to Tamina rocking her with a super kick, a roll-up, and a victory. So yes, Tamina did beat Nia Jax, one half of the women's tag team champions. I didn't care for it. I thought it was kind of dumb and hokey, but we'll see. We'll see. In the back, Caleb Braxton interviewed Kevin Owens. Owens discussed his title shot tonight against Apollo Crews when, well, Big E would erupt, and pointed out that Owens jumped the line. He called him a line jumper. And I go, so he's just there, Big E? Pierce made it seem like Big E was not going to be here tonight. Because he's like, Big E will get a rematch as well when he returns. Well, he returned tonight, so where's his rematch there, buddy boy? Anyways, Owens pointed out that he's getting the next shot. They both pretended to laugh and then abruptly stopped. It was kind of like that. On the back, Daniel Bryan approached Adam Pearce, and basically Bryan was like, so you're going to do it, right? You're going to make the match. You're going to give Cesaro his title shot, right? It's going to happen. And Adam Pearce looks at Daniel Bryan and goes, you know better than anybody that I just can't snap my fingers and make that happen. You know that that's not how this works. And Bryan kind of gave him a look and then just goes, well, how about you try harder? And Pat McAfee goes, did Daniel Bryan just threaten him? Did Bryan threaten somebody? And I'm like, I guess so. But that's not how this works, Adam Pearce. You're the official. You should be able to make any match we want. You shouldn't be allowing the fucking inmates to run the asylum like you have with Daniel Bryan. With Roman Reigns. You need to stand up and say, hey, you're going to defend your title when I say so. But Adam Pearce, scared of Roman, I guess. I don't know. He's afraid to tell him what to do. Well, then next up, we had a pretty good match. Intercontinental title on the line. Apollo Crews with the Commander Aziz taking on Kevin Owens. So Owens had the early advantage with a side headlock. Crews tried to fight back, but Owens went right back to a headlock. Crews broke free, but Owens hit a standing dropkick to regain control. Crews locked on a side headlock, but Owens broke free. He hit a back elbow and a senton to take over. Owens sent Crews to the floor, but Aziz stood in the way. Crews took advantage and regained control. He followed this up with a suplex and a near fall. Crews then tossed Owens to the floor. Crews attempted a moonsault off the apron, but Owens moved and hit a super kick. Owens then hit a swanton bomb for a near fall, and suddenly Sami Zayn's music would hit, and out would come Sami. Sami walked down to ringside. He was going to join. Well, he wasn't gonna. He did join Pat McAfee and Michael Cole on commentary, and they complained because they gave him just a little steel folding chair. He didn't get a comfy chair like you usually have extra sitting at ringside. Anyways, after a break, Crews and Owens fought on the top rope. Crews knocked Owens to the mat, but Owens avoided Crews and hit a super kick for a near fall. Crews dropped Owens on the top rope, and he followed this up with a clothesline for a near fall. Crews hit a rolling German suplex, a couple of them actually, on Owens for another near fall. Crews missed a splash, and Owens hit a German suplex to take back over. Owens hit 2 cannonballs for a close near fall in the corner. Owens then attempted the stunner, but Crews avoided it. Owens rocked Crews with a super kick and a pop-up powerbomb for a 2. Owens climbed to the top, but Crews rolled to the floor. Owens then hit a splash off the apron. Owens threw Crews back into the ring, but Aziz jumped up on the apron. The finish then saw Crews take advantage of the distraction and rolled up Owens to pick up the victory. So I loved the body of this match. I thought it was really, really good. But it was the second distraction finish with a roll-up in a row. We saw it with Tamina beating Nia, and then we saw it here with Crews beating Owens. I just didn't like that. I didn't like that we got 2 distraction, not just 2 distraction finishes in a row, but 2 distraction finishes with roll-ups. So after the match, Owens still got to give Crews that stunner, but Aziz attacked and hit what they called the Nigerian nail. Zayn then jumped in the ring and danced around Kevin Owens' fallen body as Pat McAfee basically made fun of him for the dancing. In the back, we go to Kayla Braxton, who was interviewing Paul Heyman. And I'm like, okay, she's interviewing Paul. I get where this is going, but maybe they could have saved this for Talking Smack tomorrow. I don't know. So she asked if Roman would accept Cesaro's challenge. Heyman praised Cesaro. He promised that Reigns will give an answer later tonight. After commercial break, the new backstage interviewer, Megan Morant, interviewed Apollo Crews. Crews bragged about retaining his title and being the champion. Crews noted that Aziz is in the locker room right now. Suddenly, Big E would attack Crews and beat him down. So, we'll see where this is going. Then we got something super cool. It's the new Aleister Black. They're calling him the Dark Father. I think that's what it was. Because the what's it called? The book he was reading and the story he was telling in this video, it said Tales from the Dark Father. And I'm like, ooh, that's dope. That's really cool. So the segment is basically a new twisted version of Aleister Black. Black sat on a chair in a room surrounded by candles and smoke. He said, most people are not honest, as he read from the book. Black read chapter 1, The Dragon, and narrated a cool animated video. Black told a story of a boy. His father took him to rituals to face life and death. The boy's father became colder and distant, though. The boy didn't learn to slay the dragon. Instead, he learned to be the dragon. Black then mocked and ranted about people watching. I'm interested because this was fucking dope. This was really cool. I liked the story they're told here. And apparently, according to PWU Insider last week, these vignettes that they filmed are kind of loosely based off of things that happened to Black as a child. So I kind of want to know what the fuck this is all about. Caleb Braxton then said that it's good to see Aleister Black back and then interviewed the tag team champions Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. They said, hey, who do you think is going to win tonight between the Alpha Academy and the Mysterios? And Dolph goes, Rey Mysterio's never looked better. I've fought him plenty of times, like for the Intercontinental Championship back in the day. But even though me and Otis had some issues before, I think he and Gable, Alpha Academy, will pick up the victory tonight. Street Profits would then interrupt, and they had a brief stare down with the champs before Bayley would show up and took over the interview. She promised she would defeat Bianca Belair at WrestleMania Backlash. Bayley mocked Belair with Ford standing right there. He had Belair on the phone. They were FaceTiming or whatever. And he told her what Bayley was saying. He said, oh, okay, well, I'm coming for her right now. I'll be right there. Bayley goes, okay. Okay. Back from the break, Belair and Bayley were face to face. Bayley was suddenly nice to Belair and praised her. She says she's excited to be Belair's first title defense. Bayley then left, but came back and laughed at Belair. I think the match will be really good, but it's weird. No Sasha. And last week, Sasha basically made us think that she was still involved in the title picture, saying she was going to come after Belair. And I still got this spot on my glasses that won't go away. But this is a weird one. I know Bayley cut that promo last week saying, she's right here, right now, ready to face the champ. And so I go, okay, maybe Sasha gets a rematch and then they go to Bayley. But no, they're just going straight to Bayley and no mention of Sasha at all tonight, which is weird. So then we had the Mysterios versus the Alpha Academy. Match was good. It felt like it went a little long and dragged at times. They recapped Rey defeating Otis last week before the match began, with Otis beating down Dominic to gain the early advantage. Otis slammed Dominic down and started to climb up the corner. Rey pulled out Dominic to the floor, and Otis ran around ringside and wiped them out with a double clothesline. After a commercial break, the heels were firmly in control. They isolated Dominic on their side of the ring before finally Dominic was able to get just a little bit of offense in, sneak over and tag in his dad. At one point, though, before that, I forgot to mention, Chad Gable just looked phenomenal with some slow rolling belly to bellies. These were like not your normal belly to belly suplexes like you'd see Big E do, where you grab them and you throw them up over your head. No, this was you grab them, you throw them, but then you rotate and you hold on to them and you slam them down. This was dope. He did like 2 of them, and then he transitioned it into a rolling German. Really, really cool. But Rey finally got the hot tag and ran wild. Rey gave Gable a Hurricane Rana. And then Rey knocked Gable off the apron. Dominic hit a sliding sunset powerbomb into the barricade. Dominic sent Otis into the announce table at ringside. And then Rey hit the 619 and a frog splash to pin Chad Gable. As the Mysterios are leaving, out would come Cesaro and Bryan. They come down to the ring. And Cesaro and Bryan called out the Universal Champion Roman Reigns for an answer. They said they want to know, does Cesaro get the title shot? Cesaro said, you can come out here, or we have no problem coming back there and finding you. Then Roman, Jay, and Heyman would all make their way down. Roman got in Cesaro's face. He said he was furious that Cesaro's demanding a title shot. Reigns turned down the title shot. He said it's going to have to be a no. Reigns noted that the champion makes the challenges. Reigns then looked at Bryan and goes, but I'll face you. You can get another shot. He said, I'm tired of you trying to always get into my business, so I'm going to finish this. Next week, I'll put my title on the line. But when I beat you, I never want to see you here again. I never want to see you show your little face on SmackDown again. Bryan had a look of confliction on his face, and Cesaro literally just goes, you got to take it. You can't say no. And Reigns is just like, you do. If you do and you lose, you never show your face here again. Reigns and Bryan had a brief stare down with Cesaro watching on, just excited looking. Like Cesaro looked excited to see this match. When finally Bryan accepted. On commentary, Michael Cole and Pat McAfee stressed that Bryan's career will be on the line. McAfee noted, if Bryan loses, he's banished from Friday Night Smackdown. Bryan accepted. And we're getting this match. And this feels like a big time match. Something that is big time for Friday Night Smackdown and Fox. And maybe, just maybe, one of the biggest matches they've done on SmackDown since moving to Fox. I mean, this is up there when Brock beat Kofi for the title. Like, kind of like how hard you should be pushing this kind of deal. So next week, the Universal title will be on the line. And I believe, let me double check. I believe the IC title's on the line as well. Stacked SmackDown next week. Stacked SmackDown, I believe. Let me double check. Because I know, of course, the Universal title's on the line. But I think, yes, the Intercontinental title is also on the line next week. So next week's SmackDown, stacked. Stacked. Big show. I wonder what else they announced. 2 big title matches. I mean, Mysterio's picked up a big win. Give him the tag title shot next week. Why not? Why not? But with that, that was Friday Night Smackdown. Remember, if you guys want to be part of the show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that's 510-906-1341. Check our polls before we do check the text messages. 67% of you on Twitch thought SmackDown was just all right, with 33% saying you liked it. As far as the YouTube poll does go, if it'll show it to me here. If it'll show it to me. Come on, YouTube. There we go. 61% of you liked tonight's SmackDown. 32% thought it was just all right. And 5% did not like tonight's SmackDown. Let's check the text messages. Remember, that number is 510-906-1341. Person says, well, Daniel Bryan loses next week. Is he going to retire or go to Raw? And that's the big question. I don't know. We know that Daniel Bryan's contract with WWE is supposedly up around the first week or so of September. Sometime in September, Bryan's contract is up. So Bryan could take some time off. I mean, if he's going to take time off till that contract is up, that would be May, June, July, August. That's 5 months. I don't see him just being gone for 5 months, but I do see him possibly, most likely, popping up on SmackDown or on Monday Night Raw. Because I don't see him winning the belt. Or says, do you think next week leads to maybe a retirement for Daniel Bryan, or he wins or moves over to Raw or NXT? I think it's the latter. He moves to a different brand. NXT would be, oh my God, don't even get me started. How great that would be to have Daniel Bryan on NXT. Ooh, buddy. This person says, what do you think are the plans for Alistair? I don't know, and I'm not even going to try to guess, because last time he was cutting promos, it was just promos from his closet that led to nothing. So hopefully this leads to something, but I'm not even going to guess because, well, they've tried this before. Person says, I would have loved to see Cesaro or Bryan sucker punch Roman Reigns after Daniel Bryan accepted the challenge for next week's title match on SmackDown. Your thoughts? I can see where you would have liked to see that. But at the same time, it's like, no. Both of them are going to play it as, the baby face. And how do I say it? It just wouldn't have fit either of their characters, to be honest. It just wouldn't have fit. Edwin Pereira, all I'm going to say is I only listen to country music. The person says, finally glad to see Aleister Black getting some TV time. Hopefully he gets a good opponent or rival to face like Seth Rollins, Murphy, or Shinsuke Nakamura before possibly getting a title run. I don't see them ever putting a title on him. I'm just going to say that right now. The person says, thoughts on a possible 4-way match for the IC title between Cruz, Big E, Owens, Sammy at Backlash. I didn't think about that, but that's a hell of an idea that I absolutely love. I freaking love that. Give it to me now. Cruz, Big E, Owens, Zayn, 4-way title. Boom. That's actually a great idea. He says, are we getting a heel turn from KO or Big E? I hope not, but if so, I'd prefer Big E or KO. I don't think so and don't know why you would think so. And this person says, do you think Black will face Roman at SummerSlam? I don't fucking know, and I don't know where you would come up with that, but no, probably not. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, you can follow us on social media, Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Remember, you can also follow us on Instagram by searching for Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and follow us on Twitter at PW Unlimited. Also, remember to follow our website, pwunlimited.co, and turn on those push notifications. That way you know when a new news story does go up there. But with that, guys, have a great night. I will be back on Sunday talking Impact Rebellion, almost at AEW. Impact Rebellion. That show looks really good. Nick and I did do our predictions today for that show, which are up right here, right now on the PW Unlimited YouTube channel. So go check those predictions out if you haven't already. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. See you guys right back here on Sunday.